All right. So, welcome to Views of an X. Finally have day. First, I want to ask you, because you've been listening to my podcast for a while and you always leave feedback.
Yeah, I try.
Always leave comments.
I try.
Where did you discover Views of an X?
You did Shawnee on the mic.
Yes. They called him, what they called him?
Oh.
They called him Little PP. It was all types of names. Oh my God.
So he is on a podcast with my friend Julio.
Yes.
And I wanted to support Julio, so I listened to his podcast.
Okay.
And then I fell in love with their podcast. And then Shawnee on the mic was putting you guys up.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, okay, well, let me check them out. And I don't even remember my first listen. And I was like, oh, this is a good listen. And then so while I'm at work, like pumping out papers, and I just listen. And I'm like, oh, these are some of them are hella toxic. And then some are like learning moments.
Yes.
Yeah, I really like that.
So we're doing this on Pride Day.
Yes,
right?
we are.
This is your day.
Yeah.
And you reached out to me. You was like, I want to do an episode.
Yeah.
And I was like, sure, anytime. One, I need more queer, lesbian, relationship stories. I only had about 3.
Yes.
I had about 3.
Yes.
So I was like, yeah, sure. Didn't know what she was going to talk about, but I was like, I love her energy. I love her. I was looking at your page. I love her energy, everything. I was like, sure. And he was like, yes, let's do it on Pride Month.
Yeah.
So I tried to fit you in, but we doing it on Pride Day.
On Pride Day.
On your day.
Yes.
So that's good. You took time out to come here and do it on your day. We have Buatai ramen. What you had, the wonton?
Yeah, the fried wontons and steamed dumplings.
Dope.
Very good.
I don't know what this is, but I just chose anything.
It looks good though.
Yeah, some noodles. So we're here to talk about an ex. Now, before we talk about this ex, you got to describe how they look.
Okay. I thought she was gorgeous. Actually, my friends thought she was gorgeous too. She was about 5'5", about 5'5".
How tall are you?
I'm 5'8".
All right.
Yeah. I'm 5'8". So she was like 5'5", 5'6". She had really big boobs, and she had like she was like a little bit darker than me. So she was like, I want to say like milk chocolate skin, and she had dreads.
Okay.
She had dreads.
Is that your type?
No.
What is your type?
Ruby Rose.
I like Ruby Rose.
Oh my God. Her lips. All right.
Everything about Ruby Rose.
Everything. Even her like androgynous nature.
Yes.
Everything about her is so effing sexy. So unfortunately, I grew up on like L Word kind of. So I fell in love with like Shane. So unfortunately, it'll come out a little more in the story. But my type is usually light-skinned women with that boyish androgynous kind of look. Short hair. You can have long hair too. It doesn't really matter. But just that boyish androgynous look. I think that's usually my type.
Gotcha. What about Ruby Rose you love the most?
Her lips, her energy, her personality. I was like stalking her Instagram for like when I found her. I watched that horrible Batwoman series.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, she was in it.
Ruby Rose is in it?
Ruby Rose was in it. She was Batwoman. It was the only reason why I watched it. It's the only reason why I watched it. And I just think her personality comes through on her thing. I think she has a partner now, but
I don't listen to none of her music.
No.
All her videos be on mute. It's the other stuff.
I didn't know she did music.
Yeah, see?
Wait, are we talking about the same white woman?
Oh, Ruby Rose is a rapper.
No, I don't know.
So they have the same name.
Oh, shoot. Really?
So you got to show me who your Ruby Rose is. And
I will.
Ruby Rose.
Oh, so my Ruby Rose is a white woman.
Oh, well, Ruby Rose is light skin.
Okay.
I think she's like West African. She's from somewhere.
Oh.
I'll show you her.
Okay. Okay, yeah. We're 2 different women.
Yeah, all right.
So mine is white. She's white.
Oh, I didn't know. All right.
She's
all
white.
right. So we're talking about 2 different people. So the people that the person I'm talking about, people that listen to this probably know because she's like big online.
Okay.
So your Ruby Rose, we don't know. I gotta put them on.
I'll check her out.
All right. So she had dreads, everything. And what stuck out the most about your ex that made you attracted to her?
I want to say that she liked dogs.
She liked dogs?
Yes.
And that's
I find I love animals, but I find that a lot of like lesbians tend to be more cat people, and I'm a huge dog person, and so I just wanted someone who also liked dogs as crazy as much as I did, and she had 2, and I was like, oh, thank gosh. Yeah.
And before we start, we got to give her a name.
Yes.
So what did you describe? Either I can give her a name or you can give her a name.
I give her the name the same I do on my own podcast. I give her Clock.
Why is that?
Yeah. You'll see why.
Clock?
Clock. Yeah.
Now, this relationship was a short time, so
Short, very short. It was a intense 30 days.
yes, I was like, when I seen that, I was like, wait, a month?
An intense 30 days.
And it was traumatic. It was that traumatic.
It was so traumatic. I'm not a Aries, that sign stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not really. I'm not into it. But if people will tell me her sign, I'm almost adverse to stay away. Like I'd be like, ooh.
What's her sign?
Aries. She's an Aries.
All right. I don't know much about
me
Aries.
Neither.
Yeah.
But that, yeah.
So when you describe the story, people want to listen. They love that whole sign thing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, she's definitely.
I'm an
Aries.
Aquarius. I don't know.
So we get along. I'm a Gemini.
Oh,
Aquarius.
yes, we do.
Yeah.
I have a lot of Gemini friends.
Yes.
And we do get along because we're able to like talk.
Yes.
And
My sister's
be open.
Gemini, and I'm most close to her.
Oh, okay.
My brother's Aries. See, I'm not that close to
You're
him.
not that close to him?
Uh-uh.
I don't know.
So we're going to see.
Yeah.
All right. So Clock it is.
Yeah.
Now, how did you meet Clock?
Online. I met her on this app called Tammy.
Tammy? That's different.
Yeah, it's a LGBT app. I had a few at the time, but Tammy was the only one that was like, I interacted the most with women on there. Bisexuals don't get a lot of like love on these things.
You're bisexual?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Because I don't know. I know we're doing this on Pride, which is like the only time in the month I feel like we're accepted. But I feel like on apps, we are just seen as gophers. So people really think that we are just fishing for someone for our boyfriends.
Okay.
So they just think that we're just out there just to be having like sexual deviance kind of stuff.
So what do you got to do? What do you got to put in your profile to show show them that you're not a gopher? Or...
I would have to put single, not looking for threesomes, not looking for one night stands, looking for a relationship like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What's the other app? Grindr. That's the
Grindr's
one.
only for dudes, as far as I know. I don't think I downloaded that one ever because I just assumed it was for guys. Yeah, that's the guy version, I guess. But we don't really have a girl version. I used I think it was called Hitch or something. Hinge.
Yeah, I used Hinge.
I used Hinge. I met girls off there, and Bumble's garbage, and Tammy for women.
Gotcha.
And I really like OkCupid. It is old school, but I've met like all my partners off of OkCupid.
What about in person? You don't meet women in person?
I don't.
They say I hear that lesbians or just queer people in general have horrible game. Women.
I don't.
They just say, "Oh, you pretty," and then
right. That's what I'll get. I'll get a lot of women walk up to me. Yes, they'll walk up to me and be like, "Oh my gosh, you're so gorgeous. You're so pretty." And I'm like, "Well, date me then. I'll get you." Like there was one girl that complimented me, and I was like, "Well, like
say something.
How like talk to me, like talk."
Yes.
But then they like run off and they'll compliment me and be like, "Oh, and I'm like, "Oh no, but talk to me though. I am interested."
And then I heard the AGs, they're aggressive, so they'll be like, "I think you're pretty. Kiss me."
Ooh.
I hear stuff like that.
I only encounter them on Pride. Like I don't ever really encounter aggressive AGs. I think only during Pride, and that's when you go down to the pier.
Yeah.
And it's not
It's not your thing.
It's not my thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you before this, you told me you have a son, right? Mm-hmm. So that means you was in a monogamous relationship?
No, it was not.
So describe that relationship before we jump into this one.
That one was I was in a throuple. I was in a throuple, and
wait, what is that?
it's when
I'm learning a lot already.
I was dating him, the sperm donor, and my friend at the time, and he had found her and then added her to our relationship. Our relationship was dying, and I think he thought it would add a little bit and allow me to. I don't know. I'm not sure what his plan was. I was really young. I was like 21. I was like 21. Yes. So I was really young and I didn't know what his plan was, but I really liked her. And so he just added her too. So a throuple has been all three of us date in a relationship.
You gotta have some money, right, to do that?
A little bit. I think we were kind of low-key poor. We're making it work,
but
hanging
it's just
out.
The personalities, you're hanging out, and everybody got along.
Yeah.
Like,
for a little while.
What about sexual?
There were a few threesomes at like constant.
So let's say you and your sperm donor
right.
would like to do it by yourselves.
Yeah,
the
we
other
could
person
do it.
just has to
If she's
understand
not,
that?
if she wasn't there, yeah, that was like, okay, so then those kind of things were talked about prior to the relationship, like how this is going to go, what is how you're feeling.
So
and then it's like,
communication.
it's really about communication. I don't know what to give her. So I'm just going to say Kay. Kay and I are still friends today.
Okay.
And she's mad cool. But at the time, I would just like have conversations with her. I'd also have conversations with sperm donor. And and that was like how we did it. So it was just if all three of us around and we're into it, sure. If I walked in from work and those two were doing it, sure. It wasn't like
You don't feel no type of way.
No. I do. This is a personal opinion, but I do believe if you're in a double relationship, you're not like 100% for any of the people in your party. That's just me.
Yeah.
I figured out for myself that I can be in open relationships. When I'm in a monogamous relationship, I give that other person, my partner, 100% of my like energy.
Yes.
But when I'm in an open relationship or a throuple, I find that maybe 60%.
Wow.
It drastically drops. So then my care, I guess, for like jealousy things or stuff like any of those emotions that would pop up, I don't experience them.
Wow. That's different.
Yeah.
That's different. Now, is he still in the son's life?
Not at all. I.e. why he's a sperm donor.
Wow. Man. All right. And the son understands that.
Yeah. So really quickly, I had to do a custody thing because I wanted to take him out of the country.
Yes.
And the last time he seen him before my son was 12 was like he was 3 days old, and that's because I had complications in the hospital.
Yes.
So then that was the last time I seen him, and then he fought me in court for no reason. And then he saw him for like I want to say 4 months, every other weekend for a day, and then just stopped.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you never reached out?
Oh, I don't do any reaching out.
Gotcha.
Like I didn't need anything from him.
Yes.
I worked hard to just, this was my situation. I'm just going to take care of what I have to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, you have a story.
Yeah.
You could write a book. Now, who am I talking to? We just jump right into it.
Oh. All right. So, Day.
Yes.
My long name is Dejanay.
Yeah, I was like,
yeah.
it's spelled very different.
Yeah. Most of my fans or people that follow me know me as Hentai Girl. Or now I go by Cotton Candy Hentai Girl because I've been more falling into the kawaii culture.
Yes.
Because before I was just cosplaying, and then I would be very much into like the hentai themes of like naughty stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Now, when I see that stuff on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know how it works. I don't know if y'all good at graphics or FX, but this one girl I seen, and her boobs just keep getting bigger. And it goes back to normal size. And then it goes big, and her butt get bigger.
Oh, that's a succubus. Okay, so
I was like, and it looks real.
So that's like my alias, right? So I'm a succubus. My alias is succubus.
Succubus.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So in hentai culture, it's like the succubus does what they can to appease their partner or their victim or their whoever they're trying to entice at the moment.
Okay.
So if the guy or girl likes bigger boobs, gonna have bigger boobs.
But how
if
do
they
you,
like
how
a
do they
thicker
do
woman, I don't know.
Is it like a effect or like
yeah,
they play something on the computer?
That is definitely like
huge.
Really,
and
like
then she's
huge,
normal
huge.
size. She goes, all right. It's like a transform thing. She'll be like, at 3:00, I'm gonna do this.
Oh,
then she's like normal size. Like she has a body.
Okay.
But then when she does her thing and transform, it's like big ass.
Well, I know this girl, that Ebony Zombie, I think her name is.
Mm-hmm.
She does this thing with her tongue where she makes it like extra long, but that's all modded, so I'm not sure. I would have to see. I would have to see it.
I gotta find it. Just pops up on my Twitter.
On your Twitter,
I don't follow her, but it just always pops up. Somebody is like liking it. Somebody somebody I'm following likes it, and it comes on Twitter.
Okay, so, I would have to see. I want to see.
I had to find it.
Okay.
All right, so you're into hentai. Can you explain it briefly?
Hentai is just animated porn.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, in Japanese kind of culture, but mostly animated porn.
Okay, because it's foreign to a lot of us.
Mm-hmm.
And you do your own I see you have your chain.
Oh,
you
yes.
make your chains
My
and everything
pride
like that.
chain.
What's your website to purchase?
Thanks. Coco Kawaii on Instagram. I do have an Etsy, but it's closed right now because their taxing fees is insane. So I sell in person at like conventions.
Yes.
And or online. So if you like anything that I post on my Instagram, just let me know.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, doing your thing. So we're gonna talk about clock, right?
Yes.
This month-old relationship. I'm like curious to know what the hell happened. Where did you see y'all met online?
Yes.
What's the name of it again? Tammy. All right. And y'all hit it off on the spot. Like, how does that go? They like your picture. Is it like a right left thing, like Tinder and all that
So
stuff?
it's like a Facebook.
All right. Yes.
It's almost like a Facebook kind of setup. So you have to like, it's like, oh, I look cute today. You're posting, like, make a little status update, stuff like that. That's how they know if you're like active. And then you can go live. Apparently, it must be a paid app because there's so many people just going live just because. I don't know if they were there for dating, but it was amusing, on some lonely nights or whatever. And I'm just like on it. I think I just saw her post her and her dogs. She was in Virginia at the time. And I just saw her posting her and her dogs, and I liked her pictures, and I'm not afraid to like scroll down and like.
Let person know, like, I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here, right?
Yeah.
So, and then I noticed that she also did the same to me, and then I think she commented or like, I guess, slid in the DMs, and then we just started talking from then. But then we had like a little gap, little space in between. But then it was like off, and I was like, okay, I'll continue talking.
Now with queer relationships, y'all go quick. It's like fast from what I've seen. And I had a guest on here that talked about the U-Haul.
Yes.
So was that the
U-Haul
case?
is more common with lesbians. It's not horribly common with bisexual people because we tend to date both. I obviously use my own personal opinion, personal experience. I'm very U-Haul-ish. I can be U-Hauled.
Are you moving them in?
No. I don't want to do that no more.
Yeah.
But I definitely can. I'll
But how do you
think about it.
How are they able to pick up and just go like that?
Taking a risk, taking a chance.
Oh my God!
We believe in that. Yeah, because then like you get to, because the sex is so intense. Being with each other is so intense. And if you hit it off, it's like that honeymoon phase that almost never seems to go away. That's what it feels like.
Yes.
So then you don't want that to end.
Yes.
So then you end up like hitching together for a long time. You just have that like really cute bubble. And you're like, I don't even want to go home. And if I'm going home, I'm just going to come right back here kind of thing. That wasn't like that in this for me anyway. But I have had that in the past that I was like, I'm about to move to Minnesota.
And the difference between men and women is it's more intense with women.
Yes, very much so.
Hitting it off relationship. I hear that too.
Very much so. I'm addicted to it, actually.
The honeymoon stage.
Oh, yeah. I love the honeymoon stage. You get so much sex. Like, it's so good. It's so good. I really love it. Because that's like, everyone's, at that moment, you should be so open. And I love digging into who you are as a human being. So if I can like talk to you all the time and then you can be in my life, like I just want to include you in my life. Like, you're going to be here, so be here kind of thing. So yeah. Yeah.
I get it, but I'm like, once it phases, what happens? It's like,
it doesn't really, in a good relationship, it doesn't really phase out. It still feels that way. It just, now we have responsibilities. We have bills to pay. We have to go to work. We have to, clean the house and then plan things together. It doesn't really go away. I mean, yeah, my longest relationship with a woman was 1.5 years. And it doesn't.
That's the longest?
That's my longest, yeah.
So that's the honeymoon stage, basically.
Is it the honeymoon stage still?
1.5 years. I give it like 6 months to a year.
Right, that's what I think.
Right?
To me, a honeymoon stage is like ends around like 7, 8 months.
I tried a little bit after that, and then
yeah,
I was like, all right, fuck this.
Well, I was really young, so I don't know. I thought the whole thing was really great until it was starting getting really bad. Gotcha. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So with Clock, y'all met online. She had the dogs. I kicked it off. Y'all told each other basically, I like you, you like me. Where did you said she lived in Virginia at this time?
She was visiting Virginia
And she
at
lived
the time.
in New York.
She lived in New Jersey.
That's not bad.
No.
So you live in Long Island, she lived in New Jersey. It's not bad.
No.
What was the first meetup like?
Ooh, okay, so she came.
How long did it take for y'all to meet up?
Oh gosh, she was in Virginia. We were talking online for about 2 weeks.
All right.
And we were talking online for about 2 weeks, and then she came home, and there was like another week, so about 3 weeks.
All right. That's
about
not bad.
3
That's
weeks.
not bad.
Because she had her 2 dogs, and she was like, I need someone to watch them, and because we lived so far, for us it was like still a distance. She didn't drive, I'd drive. No, she didn't drive. So she was like, well, I'd like to come and figure out come to stay with you for like a weekend. So we had actually planned to go hiking with my hiking group friends, and she was going to stay the weekend. My son was going to be away, and I really don't like dating and my son meeting the people. I don't really like that. So he was going to be away that weekend, and at my mom's, and she was going to come stay the weekend with me, and we were going to go hiking.
And you trusted her, and it's 3 weeks of talking to her. You trusted her to come to your place.
Yes. Yeah. The more I think about that, sounds crazy, but yes,
man,
I did.
All right.
I did. So then we planned our first date, which is going to be.
Now, wait, before you get there,
okay.
What was your initial thought when you first seen her?
She was short.
So she was height fishing on.
Yeah, I think because of her pictures. And we talked on Marco Polo.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, so Marco Polo is like a video app.
Okay.
So you send like video apps, it's like video messages to each other.
Yes.
And then when you have time, because at the time I was like a Zumba instructor, and I was like always running around for different things. And but I wanted to still make time, so then to make it more personable, you send like video messages back and forth. Mm-hmm. So we were doing that, and obviously we do our best angles and stuff like that. So I just thought she would be a little taller, but she was definitely shorter than me, which is, I'm not like whatever.
Yeah, you're not tripping.
No, but I was just like, oh, she's short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
And that was it? Everything else, she looked like herself?
Yeah, everything else was fine.
Have you ever got catfish?
I have.
Yeah.
Like the person was older than the pictures that they sent. And that's kind of why now I do like voice messages, because I like being attracted to someone's voice.
Yes.
And, I'm not like a superficial person, but I do want them to be attractive.
Yes, yes.
And, yeah, he was older.
He was older.
It was a lot older.
The men be lying, right?
A little bit. And it's like, everybody has something they're self-conscious about.
I kind of get it. Like I think it's the 40-plus-year-olds.
Yes.
Because they be wanting the younger joints, and younger joints don't be wanting them. So they put like 35, 32. And
see, I didn't even get that far.
They probably look it too.
Yeah.
And then.
Yeah, so the one that I'm talking about was like a white guy, and he sent me like an old picture of himself when he had like lots of hair, and it was definitely thinning. Yeah. And I was like, why are you doing that?
Yeah, like,
I'm like, oh, you're a lot older than you look in the pictures.
I have a friend that she got caught the same way. She was like, how old does this guy look? I'm like, I could tell he's in his 50s. And she was like, really? I'm like, yeah, look how he dressed.
Oh.
And she was like, dang. But she said she likes him. But on his profile, it said 38.
Oh, no. See, I addressed that immediately. I'm like, no, like, give me a reason, because that didn't make any sense. I gave you as much as I could so that way you can make an informed decision.
They still together, though.
Okay.
And he still look young, but he tries to dress young. But you could tell.
You can tell he's older.
Yeah. I'm like, nah.
He's trying. Like, you don't have to do that. Don't do that.
Right. But they made it work.
Yeah.
So with her, she came in, she's shorter. Mm-hmm. Personality was the same?
Personality was a little more reserved. She was more reserved in person. Definitely more reserved.
Did it make you feel away?
A little bit, because when I get nervous, I get chattery. So and then she's like in my car, and I'm like trying to make up things to talk about, and it didn't feel as natural as it did when we were just talking online.
I get that.
I do know the reason why now, but I didn't know why she was like that to begin with. So we decided on a picnic.
Yes.
And I was like really health conscious right then. I was like working out all the time. I was like muscle building, and I was like, I found these like cucumber sandwiches, just like really healthy food stuff. And I was like, let's do that. It was hot, and I was like, we could go do a picnic. I just got this really cute picnic basket. I was like, please, let's try it out. And she was like, cool. So I made all the food. I just like purchased maybe some fruit and stuff. So that was going to be our date. She asked me not to eat. I was starving. She asked me not to eat until she got there. So I was like, okay, cool.
Okay.
We get to the date, and she's quiet, and she didn't eat any of my food.
It was probably too healthy. A cucumber sandwich? I don't know about that one.
I was okay, so it's not like I told her like what would be, and I was like, well, what do you want? Like, do you want anything? She's like,
Not even the fruit?
She ate some of the bought fruit that I bought, and I bought like a small like non-alcoholic champagne because I was driving, and I wanted to know more about her, but she didn't eat any of the food, and I was like, she seemed excited about it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have made it. I wouldn't have. I'm not going to impose my nonsense on someone else. I would have made her a regular sandwich and then me, and I was like, oh, we don't like anything. She's like, oh no, I'm just not really that hungry. And I'm like, well, you made me wait and you're not going to eat.
Right.
So I was a little slighted, but she was a little more reserved, and then we just was like talking. It's at Eisenhower Park. So it was like really huge, really beautiful. It's like a lake and everything. It was really nice. She said that she played Pokemon Go and she didn't really want to play then either. So I was like, okay.
This is recent.
Yeah.
And the Pokemon Go thing. So she has this device that I'm looking at, and she can catch Pokemon with the little device without using the phone. Rich, if you're listening to this, you got to get this device.
It's a Pokemon Go Plus, it's called. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Because my friend Rich, people that listen to this podcast, he's the one that did the tattoos and everything like that. He plays that nonstop.
Oh, good.
So he got to get this device.
I got to get his friend code. Hit me up. Give me your friend code. I travel.
Was she into that as well, you said?
She said she was.
But she wasn't. Mm-mm. So this is starting off bad.
Well, I didn't know that part. I didn't start, it's like, you the first meeting, it's like, maybe someone's reserved. I'm not a reserved person when I'm ready to date. When I'm ready to date, I'm like all open. Let's do this. Like I'm jumping in 10 toes down, but she was a little pulled back.
Even though you don't fully know this person like that, you're still ready to.
Yeah.
Why?
I feel like so my internet persona does not match my in-person persona. I think everyone has like an idea about me that's such an outgoing,
bubbly and fun.
I am bubbly.
All right.
I am fun, but I'm only out maybe like once or twice a month. Like I don't go out a lot,
Gotcha.
But it looks like I do.
Yes.
It looks like I'm just like social butterfly, but I really like rather be home watching Netflix and like sewing. Like I really enjoy just being like, if I'm out, I'm playing Pokemon Go. If I'm out, I'm hanging out with friends. If I'm out, I'm going to conventions. I'm really just, that's it. And when I'm with a partner, I just want to be with them. Yeah. And then I just be with them be with me, like in each other's skin, and that's it. That's it.
Yeah. Your person has to get that.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Does it throw them off when it gets to that point?
I think some people.
All right. I think that could be too much.
I think the kind of person I date are usually like nerdy types. Mm-hmm. So the nerdy types tend to be a little bit more reserved and maybe a little bit introverted, which is perfectly fine because I'm an ambivert. Yes. I prefer to be on my own, but when I go out, I don't mind. I need sometimes to be around people. I know that. But sometimes I'm better indoors and not around too many people. But around my person, I want to be around my person like all the time. Yeah. Got it.
All right. And she basically was kind of lying to you. But what do you think the reason was?
Oh, I don't know.
Still to this day, you don't know?
I don't know. Like it's okay. I don't know.
And then, being that you explained how you are in a relationship and things like that, now I can ask you, where did you learn love?
Oh, my mommy and daddy.
Is this your favorite question?
It's my favorite question. I listen to your podcast. I'm like, that's my favorite question. Yes. So growing up, I was one of two parent homes. Okay. So I watched how I'm like a people watcher. Me too. I watched how other people act with their single parents, and I disliked how some kids would be very like not thinking about their parents when they were just by themselves. Like I had this friend Vanessa. I don't talk to her anymore or anything, but she would take advantage of the fact that like her mom had to work all the time, and that was it.
Free crib.
Oh my God, yeah, free crib.
You're supposed to take advantage of that,
right? I just didn't. I just was like, but they work so hard for you, and you're just taking advantage of all of that work to make her more stressed. Whereas, like my parents, they loved each other very much. I watched them argue. Oh, this is huge. I watched them argue, maybe for hours, and then they would come out back lovey-dovey. In fact, they'd probably kick my brother and I out the house to continue the makeup session. So my parents loved each other until my dad passed away. So much so my mom, my dad fell into like a coma. My mom slept at the hospital. Like it was, my parents did, I cannot tell you how inspired by their relationship I was, even at a younger age, to the point that I didn't really just date just because. I've never dated just because.
Okay.
So I've always dated because I want what my mom and dad had.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just that lovely and intense and beautiful to watch. But my relationships, because of watching them, not realizing that people don't know how to argue and then still be friends after sometimes, especially when you're younger.
Right.
But I'm used to that. I've been watching my mom and dad argue randomly all the time, and then they get back together and they're perfectly fine. Like it doesn't even, it, not like they're yelling at each other. They're not screaming obscenities at each other or anything like that. To everyone, how they deal with those kinds of issues and relationships, I guess is very different. Yeah. But yeah, that's where I learned it from my parents.
Wow. That's deep. Even though they argued and everything like that, it's still love, strong love. That's dope.
They never argue. You can tell even in their arguments, it was just a misunderstanding of connecting.
Yeah.
And they wanted to get back to being connected. Yes. And then once they were connected, it was fine.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Because normally you'll see a lot of things like the argument will happen, then there'll be maybe abuse, maybe something else, or distance. Somebody will leave.
No, the most intense arguments I think my mom and dad had, I don't really know what they were, but they would go in their room and they would close the door. Oh. And then you can hear them.
Was kicking dudes out. I'm so used to seeing that. So get out of my damn house. No. That's why I would never move in with a woman, because they got that advantage over you. And
you said that.
I seen it with my mom. I seen it with my sister. It's like a triple effect.
I actually have the opposite. When we argue, I don't expect you to walk off. Oh. I expect you to stay here with me until we figure this out.
No, that's rare.
But I think, I don't know how other people grew up. Maybe they're so used to just walking it off. Yeah. And I find that so disrespectful. Like, we're in this together. Yeah, let's figure this out together. I have no problem compromising, but I can't compromise.
With both mom, sister, when they losing that argument, get the fuck out of my house.
And no. When I lose the argument, I go quiet. I go really quiet because now I'm thinking. Yeah. Well, I was raised around like a lot of guys. So then a lot of times I try to cancel out my emotional. Sometimes whatever I'm upset about, my emotions are more tied to it than actual logical. So I immediately revert back to thinking more logically sometimes. And if it matches, then I know I'm right. But if it doesn't match, something's a little off, then I'm like, okay, maybe I need to take a step back, because something I might be pushing an emotional response and I could be wrong, and I'm not thinking logically. And that's an issue.
Have you been in therapy?
No.
Really? You just learned that on your own?
I think so.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Now back to Clock, the lion lady, right?
Yeah.
Clock.
Yeah.
So you picked up on that she was not fully herself from online. You picked up on it, but still wanted her.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I had been talking to her for 3 weeks.
3 weeks? That's, you can find somebody else.
That's very true. But I was talking to her and someone else at the time. And I found her more interesting.
And what parts, though? Even though she was
so different from my ex before. She had lots of personality, whereas my ex was very kind of tame.
All right.
Very quiet.
Clock had more personality.
Okay. Than I was used to. I'm really not used to a lot of people with tons of personality. Yes. So I was kind of interested and I was intrigued by it. But it was still in the dating process. I didn't think anything wrong with it. I figured, why not?
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, she stayed with you for that week. Did she stay longer than the weekend?
Just the weekend, yeah.
You stayed longer or no?
No.
All right. And then how did you guys hit it off to be like, I think I want you to be my girl? When did that happen?
The same weekend. So She came on Friday. We had the day Friday. We had to wake up really early to go hiking with my friends.
All right.
So we went hiking.
And you introduced your friends to her?
Yeah. I introduced her just as a friend at the time.
Okay.
And my friends knew, kind of already updated them, and they were like, oh my gosh, blah, blah, blah. And she seemed to like them too, walking and stuff. And I'm hearing her conversation, how she is around my hiking friends are a little bit older than me. Okay. They all have like families, homes, they're like established and stuff. So she's also older than me, by the way. Clark was 3 years older than me. Okay. So I really thought she had like kind of had her life together. I thought. So I was just really analyzing how she was around my friends and stuff like that. And and then she slept over that first night, and we had to wake up really early. Then we got back home, and then she slept over that Sunday. That Sunday we had sex, and after we had sex, she asked me to be her girlfriend.
What?
Mm-hmm.
You trapped her or she trapped you?
I don't think it was a trapping. I was trying to be respectful. I was like, look, girl, I don't have any other place for you to sleep. Yeah. But my bed, it is big. But I mean, I'm not going to force myself on you. Like, don't feel intimidated to like have sex on the first. Like, I'm not trying to push you or anything. Maybe just make out. I'm perfectly fine with that.
How would you call
I'm not. I'm not the aggressor.
Yeah,
I'm usually in the relationships. I like to be. I'm a switch, but I like to be the submissive person. But in this particular relationship, I learned that I had to be more aggressive because she was definitely more submissive than I was.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then she was into what she was into sexually, and that brought y'all close. That part brought y'all close.
Yeah, I think that she just wanted. I think she just wanted me, and then I was like, cool. That was it.
Just like that.
That was it.
OMG, that's fast.
Yeah.
And she left, and y'all stayed in contact.
Yeah.
It was frequent.
Yeah, like every day.
Now, all right. So you had to speak every day, but she lived in New
Jersey, right?
How often would y'all see each other?
Once a week. Or we tried to do once a week, like on the weekends.
Too. Mm-hmm. Because of your schedule.
Yes.
You got your son.
Yeah, son and my job, and at the time I really wasn't working 9 to 5. I had like a bunch of other stuff.
And who I date, they want to see 4 times a week, 3 times. I'm like, yo, I'm busy. 1 time a week, I'll be good.
Yeah, 1 time a week is. I think 1 time a week is good. Like a weekend, a day or 2, I'm fine with that. All right. Yeah.
But y'all talking every day.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's a must.
Even when y'all talk, is it? It got to be intense. It got to be like you're talking about some personal things. You're talking about.
She didn't like knowing about my past.
Okay, that's fair.
Is it?
Yeah, like you don't really care.
I hate that.
You want to know about the person's past?
Yes.
Why?
I want to know. I'm 36. I know I don't look 36, but I want to know how you got to be who you are at 36. I didn't know you at 20 or 15 or, and I have all these like fun experiences that made me the person of who I am. So I want to know what made you the person that you are.
I would want to know the past, but it have to come out during conversation.
Oh yeah.
But I don't want to be like, all right, tell me about your past.
Tell me about, I think it could be just natural, but I like knowing. I like knowing.
Because something may trigger you. Like you may hear something like, oh, I don't like this person no more.
Really?
I'd rather hear it throughout conversation.
Okay. Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So even with this podcast, right? If I interviewed you, I don't want to probably date you.
Yeah.
Because there's stuff you said that I'm
you're like, I don't know about that.
So,
yeah.
So I don't be wanting to know. I don't care to know, but if it comes out in conversation,
then okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
So was she reserved even on the phone when you had your phone conversations? Or she was better on doing that?
She was better on our little conversations. She was better on the conversations. There were definitely things I ignored. Mind you, this was a month. So there were things that I ignored that I didn't see as like red flags or anything.
Was she homeless?
No.
Okay.
She had a home. I stayed over her place.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, there was just things I didn't notice. I just didn't notice.
Do you know what it is?
Yeah, she attacked people on Facebook.
What?
So like,
she be in the comments?
Yeah. So my ex had actually stopped me years ago because of that. He was like, there's no need for you to like get stressed out about random people in the comments. I used to be like so upset and like, and I'm like, why am I getting stressed out at this random person that I don't know?
Yeah.
And we're just going to go back and forth and I'm going to be stressed out for
and
what?
You block them. And then...
yeah. So then to hear that I've been healed of this like problem for like 8 years by this time. And then she's doing it. And I'm like, you're older than me. Why haven't you figured this out? That it makes no sense. And she gets so upset that she's like, I'm like, oh, all right.
Oh, what someone said online.
Yeah.
All right.
Just be in people's comments. She's like, this is my fourth Facebook because she kept getting blocked.
Wait, attacking the same person? Mm-mm. Oh, just general.
Different people.
And then report her and then it gets deleted. Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, I should have probably figured that out. That I didn't put two and two together. That like, oh, maybe she has
that
like
was
an issue.
That was a turn off for you.
Yeah, that was definitely
what
a turn
else
off.
about her that you was like, all right, red flag?
Ooh. So then she eventually told me why she didn't eat any of my food. She smokes a lot of weed. So much so that she needs to smoke before she eats, which I didn't know was a thing.
Oh, I never heard of that.
Right. So she knows I don't smoke, and I don't smoke. I don't like the smell of I don't like it. I don't smoke cigarettes or weed. I don't do either one. And so she didn't that day. And then so she said her personality was more reserved because she didn't smoke, because she didn't want to turn me off for the smell and stuff like that. And then because she didn't get to eat. Right. She couldn't eat because she didn't smoke.
You gotta smoke before you eat.
Yeah.
What if just all weed? You know, everything is like, it's a shortage of everything.
Yeah.
What if there's a shortage in weed? What
I don't know.
Do?
I don't know.
That's crazy.
She needed it, though. She needed it.
Why?
She said for anxiety, but no, this was now a thing where she was using it as a crutch.
Yes.
Yeah, no, she used that as a crutch and alcohol as a crutch.
Alcoholic. Mm-hmm. And how would she act when she drank?
Oh my God. So the first, I want to say we were dating now 2 days. It's like Tuesday. I remember being on Tuesday night. I got a Marco Polo of her crying about worrying that I'm going to break up with her because she smokes. And I was like, I don't like the smell. So
so you can smoke outside or whatever. Yeah.
Please, that's, I'm like, just be conscious of the fact that my nose is insanely strong and I could smell it on you. As long as it's not like permeating my nose and making my house smell funny, I'm fine. But she was like, it was like a 2:00 in the morning drunken message of her just like crying and upset, like thinking I was going to break up with her because of that. Like she's worried about me breaking up with her. And I'm like, this has been 2 days. I didn't want to say yes to her asking me because like you said, I wasn't really sure if I wanted to be in a committed relationship with her. But she was like, for the time being. And I didn't understand that sentence either later. And she was like, oh, do you want to be my girlfriend for the time being until, we can reassess it in the future? And I was like, I'm not sure what that means.
Fuck it. He was like, all right,
I guess. And I was like, well, do you mind in 3 years? I want to go and teach in Korea for like 6 months. And she was like, yeah, I'm fine with that. And I'm like, all right, then sure. As long as I don't want to hear it that when I go, you're going to be upset. It's like, I didn't think about. Yeah. I have more criterias before I could be in a relationship with someone. I just forgot them because I did just get out of a relationship that was long term. I didn't think of her as a rebound, but I do now. I didn't then. I was like prepared to be in a long term relationship again, but I didn't see her as a rebound until. Did
you fully heal from the previous situation?
Yes.
All right, we're going to talk about that. Yeah. Why didn't you talk about that one instead of this one?
Because I love him, and he and I are still okay. We're not back to how we were before. Mm-hmm. But it was going downhill, and we just wasn't like seeing eye to eye. So I was in the process of healing prior to our relationship ended. Mm-hmm. And
it's one of those. It was over.
It was over before it was over,
yeah.
And then it just went down to torture flames unintentionally, and then we're just getting back to it kind of thing. But it wasn't traumatic. Like I'm not like hung up over it. Gotcha. I guess that's probably why.
Okay. Yeah. And so you met Clock.
Yeah.
And you thought, all right, I could be with.
This one's more traumatic because if I think about certain things that happen, I'm like, ooh, like I literally have like a wincing.
Let's go into it.
Go into the things. The things.
What things?
The things. All right. So I think the first holiday that comes up is like, because this happened like around a year ago. So the first holiday is what, Memorial Day weekend or the July 4th weekend, I guess. Maybe. It's a weekend where like fireworks all over the place.
July 4th.
What's the one before that? Memorial Day. It's Memorial Day, right?
Not really. Juneteenth has some fireworks, but we don't know.
No, I did celebrate Juneteenth, but not with her.
I know. That's the year before. They was doing fireworks every day.
Every day. I was bored.
So let's say...
it was definitely Memorial Day weekend. Right. And she invited me to hang out with her friends in Jersey. Yeah. And I was like, okay. I had my son go to my mom's, and I stayed the weekend with her and her friends. I got my feelings hurt because she described me as bougie to her friends. Yeah.
Are you bougie?
No.
Okay.
I feel like bougie is such a thing where it's like, if it's like someone who is so prissy that they can't be like nice. Like,
it's like, I don't like that. I don't like this.
I'm in someone else's house. I'm going to respect being in their house. I'm going to eat their food, even though I may not like it. I know manners. Like I know manners. So, I'm like a coffee addict. So the friend was talking about coffee, and we were doing the same brewing process. It was like a slow rise. It was a blooming process. We were geeking over the process of making coffee. And then she came in and she was like, oh yeah, she's so bougie with her coffee. I was like, what does that mean? So then I was like, okay. I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, what are you talking about? Then it was like talking about something else. She was like, oh yeah, she's bougie about that too. It was like eating something. So I got kind of in my feelings, and I went and sulked in the room that we were staying in, and I just stayed there, right? And I'm like, I'm so upset. And she comes in the room, and she's like, you okay? And I'm like, no, I'm not okay. And she's like, oh. And then I could see her body expressions like change, and then she got in a mood. And then I'm like, why aren't you asking if I'm okay? Why aren't you like trying to see if there's anything you could do? Like what's going on? Nothing. I got none of that. So I had to like come out of my own feelings and ask her like, what's your issue? And then so she's like, I don't know, you're in a mood. I feel like you're just thinking about breaking up with me, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, girl, like, why didn't you ask me what was wrong? So I immediately realized that if I get into a mood, she'll get into a mood, and she won't correct my mood, but I have to correct hers, and then I have to solve my own mood on my own, if that makes sense.
So she was no help when it comes to emotions?
No, she would create the problem, and then she would not want to help me out of that problem. Yeah. But then want me to help, or maybe not want me to help, but she would be in the problem, which then I would feel the urge to help her because you're in a mood. What? I learned that weekend, and that's basically what would further on what would happen in our relationships, and they would just get bigger and bigger and bigger. The next one was this one was pretty bad. So I had a friend in a group chat that went missing because she's in an abusive relationship. So she went missing. So all our friends was like trying to find her. And we found her, and I had to abruptly end a phone call with her because of it. So then I got back on the phone with her, and I was telling her why. And she was like, oh, I didn't realize that. And then I immediately went into sharing about my past. I also was in a verbally abusive relationship, and I didn't notice I was until late, and then whatever. And then I'm just going to details about it because, again, when someone gets silent and I'm not sure what's happening, I blabber too much. And I think I definitely said too much, like details about it. Yeah. And she just got really quiet. I'm like looking at her with FaceTime.
I'm about to say, it's
yeah.
All right.
So I'm like looking at her be just like elsewhere. And I was like, what? Like, am I like, what is happening? And
all right. I see.
Yeah, so she just didn't. She was like, oh, so I'm gonna take a nap, and I'm like, okay.
So emotionally, what is that called? I have a boss that's like that. You could tell her, oh, my aunt died, and she'll be like, all right, so you're gonna still work? Like,
Ooh.
What is that called? It's like, it's an emotional thing that
It's like you're checking out or something.
it's,
I'm not even sure.
it's just like their emotions are just not, they so,
No, see, but the thing, she is very emotional.
really,
But
yeah,
just-
for herself.
yeah, for
But
herself, for other
To
people.
soothe other people, to help other people is like,
No,
no care in the world.
none.
I forgot what that's called. If you're listening to this, you got to like
Please,
message.
please.
It's called something.
I don't know what it's called. So, yeah, so she took a nap and I'm now feeling hella vulnerable. I just shared something that most people react like, oh my gosh, like
Yes.
how'd you get out of it? Like whatever.
Anything I can do to help.
Yeah, like, and I'm like, oh no, I'm fine. It's just that it's definitely something I talk about because I feel like normalizing, if you have been in like an abusive situation, talking about it makes it easier.
Mm-hmm.
2, you can hopefully enlighten someone else, whatever. Because I was under the impression that could never happen to me. Someone hits me, I'm done. But I didn't get hit. It was verbal, and I didn't realize it.
Yeah.
So I would like send a long message, and I'm like, wait until she wakes up to talk to her about it, and then she was just like, I don't know, I'm not your friend. And I was just like, so that's also pinged. I'll say that those were like little things that hit me. I like being friends with my partners.
You should be.
Yeah. And the fact that she said that, I was like, you don't want to be my friend. Like, I was just like, what does that mean? So that was like an issue because she didn't like that I was talking about, one, it was a guy. She didn't like me talking about a guy situation in my past. And, I'm skipping something that was huge actually before that happened. But yeah, she didn't want me talking about a guy in our relationship in my past, and she didn't know what to say. She said, oh, it sounds like you weren't healed over it. And I was like, I'm definitely healed. That was like when I was like in high school. Like it was really long time ago. So, and I was just telling you, I was just sharing. I'm just sharing with you. So we kind of got over that, but it was still like lingering in my head because it felt like she didn't care. And she fake cared. She like, I had a bachelorette party to go to and I invited her because again, I wanted my partner with me. She didn't want to go because she was afraid of like men gyrating in her face. And it wasn't even that kind of bachelorette party. My friend's older. She's like 50 something and she was really excited. She found her husband and partner to be and everything and she's getting married. It was like in her parents' house. It was outside, 3:00 in the afternoon. Ain't none of that happening.
Right.
But she was so scared about that happening that she was like panic attacking on the way to me, that she like cut herself on the way to me. Yeah.
Did she cut herself on purpose?
On purpose.
To not go?
No, she came to my house and she was just so stressed out about going that she ended up not going. So she just stayed the weekend at my house.
But cut herself where?
On the Jamaica Ave Railroad. Because I think it was thundering outside. So it was like thundering. She was afraid of thunder. And she just like, she cuts herself. I thought she stopped cutting herself because I could see it on her body. It was on like her leg, actually. It was like her leg. Whoa. I could see the cuts on her body, but they all looked like they were old. So I was just like, I've asked her about them.
And she does that when she's anxious?
Oh, I thought that she didn't do that anymore, but yes, apparently she does that when she's anxious.
And then she smokes weed?
Smokes weed and alcohol and shrooms.
And whoa, that's intense.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
And still, you wanted to be with her, knowing all of these things. At
this point, I'm starting to realize this was a mistake. It was
seriously
like 2 weeks in. I was realizing this is 2 weeks in. 2 weeks in. I know.
Lasted a month. Yes. 2 more weeks.
2 more weeks. See, like that. So what I mean,
that's
like,
a lot.
Right, and it's like hard for me to like remember exactly the order of horrible. But like the cutting was definitely within like the first weekish, and then
that was Scissorhand. You ever seen like?
Yes, I love.
He cut himself, and that's how it looked.
Yeah, it was really bad. It was like on the inner arm part, and then the inner thigh part.
Inner thigh. So when you're sexually active, you'll see these things. You didn't question it.
Yeah, I did. I asked her about them.
Oh, okay.
I asked her about them, and she was like, I did that when I was like really unhappy, and her mom sometimes makes her unhappy, and all this other stuff.
That would have been my ticket out of there.
See, I give people chances. I do find that I give people chances, way more chances than they probably deserve. But I didn't see it as like, oh, let me break up. Well, one, I've never actually broken up with someone. Really, it's always like I've always been the one who's been okay. We should just like not like we usually come like a mutual understanding that we're not good for each other.
That's how you say it.
Yeah.
Okay, but how would they take it?
Usually.
Okay.
Usually like that.
But with someone like this,
I would have. She was not trying to.
Yeah.
Not trying to leave the situation at all. So I want to say we had. So every time I would have these situations happen, we talk about it and everything kind of seems to be good for like a day. She would come out, and then we'd get into like a thing, and then it was like, okay,
the honeymoon stage is ruined.
That's why the honeymoon stage, I want to say, lasted like a week.
But yeah.
Basically, it was a week. And in that week, she already cut herself and then... So then after that, she unintentionally met my son because my son was graduating school. So he wanted to go to a beach trip with him and his friends. Mm-hmm. And I decided, go to a beach trip. And she already met him. And so I was like, do you want to go? I mean, you don't have to. It's going to be me and a bunch of white, little white kids. My son we're in like a white neighborhood. Right. So... you don't have to go or anything. And no, she wanted to go. So in the loading process for me to go to the beach, I have like all these things to go to the car. Yeah. She didn't want to help me because she stayed in my room on TikTok and I heard her like laughing up a storm. And she came out while I'm trying to get all the stuff ready to go into the car. And she was like, I'm going to go smoke. And I'm like, while you're going out there, please put the cooler in the car. And she's like, I'm not going out there for that. And I'm like, yeah, but just put the cooler in the car. Okay. So I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go. Yeah. Right. So I'm like, hey, I'm ready to go. She's in the room and she's like, okay. And I'm like, so then I start taking things out to the car and putting them in the car, trying to finagle them so that way my son, his friends and all can like shove in the back seat. It's going to be 4 of them. One of his friends is like really tiny. So I was like, that should be fun. So she didn't come out of the room. So I made 3 trips total. 1 trip in, I realized she didn't come out. 2nd trip in, I was like, what the hell? I'm getting pissed off. Yeah. 3rd trip, I'm like, I'm leaving you. And then she was like, oh, damn, I didn't realize you were like ready to go. Apparently she said her ADD forced her not to be able to like wait because sometimes when I say that I'm ready to go, I'm not actually ready to go. I like have to go get keys and I forget something and she doesn't like waiting.
Okay.
Yeah, I was so upset. So I'm upset because my brother was supposed to drop off my son. It was a whole thing. So I was like irritated at that, but more upset at her because I'm like, you didn't help me. As my partner, you're supposed to like want to help me. Yeah. Because I want to help you. Yeah. I didn't understand that. So we got into the car and I'm silent. And she didn't pick up on the fact that I had an attitude till we got to the grocery store. I went and got some bought chicken because I wasn't going to make food because I didn't want to cook for kids that I'm not sure how they like food. So she was like, oh, are you upset at me? And I'm like, well, yeah. She made this like, oh my God, like such a animated response. No, the kids were not in the car yet. Yes, the kids are not in the car yet. And it's such an animated response that I was like, what is wrong with you? So I didn't say anything. And then she's like, it's like you almost want to look for things to be mad at me about. Are you on your period? What? Why would you? What? Like, why would you? So now I'm steaming, right? Got to pick up my son. Got to pick up these freaking children. We get to the beach and she's like, I really feel like going home. And I'm like, technically in my brain, any relationship for me is like, if you leave in the middle of an argument and you like go home, you stay there. Yeah. Because I'm not chasing you. So she didn't because she knows that. And we got to the beach and I tried to like talk to her about what happened. And she just felt like, it's my car. It's my plans. I should be packing my own car. If it was her, she would have packed her own car. Yeah, she would have.
I get that, but come on.
That's what I felt like. And I'm like, but what? Aren't you like, I drove out to her as a surprise. She was having issues getting her dog's dog food. And I drove all the way. I like surprised her. I drove all the way out to Jersey. I dropped Evan off at school, whatever. And I drove out to Jersey to help her go drive and get dog food. The dog food in Jersey was like really far from her house. So I drove her to go get dog food. And I'm like, something that I can do to help you, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's just, I guess, the way I am. And I don't know. It's like a lot of times I'm like, I don't know why she would do something like that, but she would.
Some people are just like that. They just like that.
Yeah.
You could be the nicest person in the world, but they don't see that.
Yeah.
So it's over.
Yeah.
So it's gone.
So I guess I don't even know the ups. The ups was a while. That was.
It's that first week.
It was that first week. It was that first week, and then it started to go downhill. Just like little things here and there. We would go out with. She would say, "Oh, meet me in the city with my friend." She would eat with her cousin, but if you and I went out, she wouldn't eat with me. But then I love ice cream, and she would post ice cream when she wasn't eating with me on her Instagram.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, but I wasn't there. But when I'm like, some of them felt like little pop shots at me, and I'm like, did I do something to like make you want to do like a tit for tat thing?
Right.
And like, I don't think I did. Like, I try to communicate with her as much as possible, and sometimes she would like push it off to not really like discuss it. Anytime we had like a serious conversation to discuss, she would want to go to sleep and take a nap, and I'm like, you can't keep doing that.
Yeah, this thing is over.
Okay, so the reason why I didn't like just leave or ghost or just leave it alone, I collect plushies.
Plushies?
Mm-hmm.
What is that?
Hello Kitty squishy.
Oh, yes.
And I left one in her house. And to replace this, I got it as a set. To replace it, it was going to be like
the little
100.
cows, the Hello Kitty.
Yeah, well, this one was a
characters.
Hello Kitty like specific,
I had
like
to get
limited
one for
edition.
my cousin, and it was a cow
Yeah.
at Costco.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it was
okay, so yeah, they had
I had
the
to dig
giant
in 4
ones.
boxes, yes.
The giant ones.
I had to
Well,
go
I had
through
a
4
smaller one.
boxes to
Yeah.
get this one cow.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. No, they're really in. I'm a collect. I have my whole room looks crazy. So I left one in her place. This part, I'm pretty sure she doesn't know. If she does listen, which I doubt, because she blocked me on everything.
damn.
I couldn't break up or just like leave because I left it at her house. So I had
It's a plush doll.
I know, but
You couldn't get another one?
It would have cost me $120 just to replace that
So
one.
you'd rather go through this situation.
So I tried to repair it. Like I invited her out to the city. I said, we need to talk. I invited her out to the city, and I was going to take it to my favorite bakery, Bouchon's Bakery, before they closed down. And I didn't know they closed down. That was the crazy thing. So we was going to go to Rockefeller Centers where it wasn't there. And I was like, oh, shoot. So then we ended up walking to Columbus Circle. She hated that. And I had literally...
Rockefeller Center to Columbus Circle?
Yeah.
Oh, that's far.
It's
Well, no, it's not that far.
not really, no.
40-something Street.
Right,
I'm thinking of
40-something.
Washington Square Park.
Right. 40-something Street to 59th Street.
That's not bad.
That's not far. And she got upset. I don't know. And then she was like walking like blocks ahead. She was acting like a huge child.
Yeah.
And I remember taking video of her to show my friends because I was having serious issues at this point. Like, it's like, is it me? Or is it just like, am I the crazy one? Like that was like how I was constantly thinking. Cause I'm like, my logic is like, there's no logic in any of how she's acting. And she was walking far ahead. She was upset about water. We had to get online to wait for, I said this in Columbus Circle, that food place, I forgot the name of it. It's 25 cents for water.
Oh, wow.
Whole Foods, 25 cents, 50 cents, sorry. 50 cents for water. Or you can go outside and it's $2 to $3.
Okay.
50 cents water.
Yeah.
So you just got to wait online. Not a big deal. To her, it was a huge deal. She didn't want to wait on that line. She'd rather go outside and buy 2 bottles of water for $5. So I was like, okay, well, whatever. Whatever. So I would get to the Bouchon Bakery. I'm like, at this point, I'm like seconds from like trying to figure out how to say we should like kind of take a step back. Yeah, we should take a step back because obviously we got into this relationship way too soon. We didn't know much about each other. So when I started bringing it up, we're sitting in Columbus Circle in the mall, and she's crying and being loud, and I'm just like sitting there nice and quiet because I think it was something my dad told me. It was like, if someone's yelling at you and acting crazy, don't repeat that because it'll look like two crazy people. And then I'm like, I'm not trying to. But in this situation, if anyone was looking at us, it looked like I had said something that hurt her feelings, and she was going off. And then we ended up walking through the park, and she was just going off. And I'm like, you accused me of not, like, I used the term female, and she hated that because she didn't want to seem gender normative.
Okay.
But she made it seem like using the word female was like wrong. And I said, because I have my period, like, but you using that as a reason why I get upset with the stuff you do doesn't make sense.
Right.
That's not, right. So I'm like, you got her like upset. So she would get so upset. And then she was like, oh, I'll just, like, she was using like a lot of like suicidal sayings, and I didn't feel safe just like leaving her in Central Park. So I remember I was like, okay. I remember thinking to myself, I was like, this next week, I can't break up with her now. I have to like go home and figure this out. Doll, right? I still gotta get that plush doll. I gotta get this plush doll. So I just was like, man. So I dropped her off at the house, went all the way back home by train in Long Island, and drove her to Jersey, and I dropped her off, and she didn't want me to come inside because she was like something about the dogs or whatever, and I was like, shoot, that was my time to like get it. So I was like, oh, I gotta do this again. So I remember,
why you didn't ask her?
Because I feel like she would have known. She would have known. She would have known.
Kinda.
I feel like she would have known if I took my like, it was like my second favorite, and I was like, she would have known if I'd taken it home.
Okay. How did she get it though?
I left it there on purpose. I left it there on purpose because I was like, if I'm gonna stay here, I like hugging things, and she wasn't like a huge cuddler, and I love cuddling. Yeah. So I was like, I just want something like hold or whatever. So I left it there. So I didn't. In this situation, I think during that week, I definitely cheated on her. Because I'm already checked out. This relationship is done. It's done. Clearly. My emotions are all the way all over the place. The reason why I called her clock is because my last, like, absolutely done, literally right before I cheated on her, because I had to vent to my friends and to the person that I ended up hooking up with, because I had invited a friend to move in with me. She was getting kicked out. We were having a conversation. I was getting stressed out because I can't do anything in my house. And was having a conversation with Clock that I was like, I feel stressed out. My landlord's complaining that my son's leaving the door unlocked and he's always leaving late. And she was like, well, why don't you put a clock up on the wall and then have like keys and everything like that? And I was like, oh, that's such a great idea. Right. Let me get a cute clock. I love cute things. I wanted like my Melody analog clock. And I saw one and I sent her a picture and I was like, that would be really cute. And I'm just like giving like design ideas of what I wanted to look like. And she was like, why don't you get like a digital clock? And I'm like, well, the analog clock is cute too. And everyone in my house knows how to read it. And she was like, well, I've always been neurodivergent and blah, blah, blah about like how she can't read them. And I was like, well.
Oh, at her big age, she couldn't read those type of clocks. I said, everybody in my house can read this clock. She got offended. And I'm like, everybody in my house can read. I'm not, this is not an attack on like you as an individual. And I said, you have your. Live there. Yeah.
Exactly. You don't live at my place.
Yeah.
And you can literally turn around and see a clock. You have your phone
cable
clock,
box,
the TV clock, like just the one analog clock. We got into a whole 2-hour argument over an analog clock in my house. I was livid. I'm like, are we really fighting over a clock?
This is my mom. She would say, get the fuck out of my house.
I was livid. I'm like, I can't believe we're having a disagreement.
2 hours?
2 hours. because it wasn't. She felt like I was attacking her as a person, being that I'm I like doing things harder. I told her I do because your brain is a muscle. If you do not use it, you will lose it. And i.e. why there are so many issues. So you have to use your brain. Yes. You just do. Yeah. Even if it means doing something just a tad bit difficult. So I like challenging myself like that. And she hated that. She just was like, the easier, the better. There's no point in doing all that. It's just easier. Like, had an issue about script to regular handwriting. We had a little issue with that. And I'm just like, it means nothing. It's like an extra 2 seconds. You round up. It's not a big deal. And yeah, so that's why I named her Cock, because that was like, that was the end all for me, because that made no sense. I was stressed already about my house not being usable until my roommate like finished her moving in process and that situation. And I'm like, I can't even come to you when I'm stressed. Why are we together? There's no reason why are we together. 2 days later, she made a comment about bisexual people. And
on Facebook?
No, with her friends.
How did you find out?
I was on the phone.
Gotcha.
And she made a comment about like, this is why I don't date bisexual people. And I'm like,
damn.
What? Like, you knew I was bisexual before when we were talking. You knew my ex, obviously I have a son. You know my ex was a guy. I have relationships with both. And I genuinely do think she just did not like me.
Now, did you cheat on her with a man?
No, actually, which is what I think she was fearful of.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. It was with a girl.
Okay.
A friend of mine that I I was venting to her because she's a lesbian. I was venting to her about this situation, her and her roommates, about this whole situation. Because I helped her out, and then she was paying me back, taking me out to drinks, and I was like, "Girl, I need to like talk. I need to understand where it's coming from." And she's like, "Yeah, I don't think she likes bisexual women, or she's like having issues resolving that for herself."
Yeah,
knowing that I'm around penises, I can say, knowing that I'm around penises every now and then, like that's my bubble. She's in a bubble. She's in a very gay, cliquey bubble. She has a couple of trans friends. She has lots of lesbians and lots of gay people as friends. She doesn't have a lot of bisexual people as far as I know. And I guess queer people are not in her like bubble. Yeah. So I don't really say I have a bubble. But my bubble is not her bubble. And that was an issue, I think. So I just don't have a lot. I have like one trans friend. I have a couple of gay people friends. And like I have a little bit of everyone. I also have a ton of straight people friends. So I'm like, I'm not going to
single somebody out. Yeah.
No, I'm not. So she's definitely like hardcore, like against cisgendered men. And I'm just like, I can't be. I have a son. I have a brother. Yeah. I can't be so one directional when it comes to things like that. No, and she was very in her bubble, and I think she wanted me to be in her bubble, and I can't be in that bubble.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
So how did you break it off? So that was the clock thing was the reason why I went downhill.
That was it.
How did you break it off?
It was we went to. She invited us out to July 4th weekend, and she went out with her and her friends. My son was over. I'll say that was like one of the good things. That long drive, I got to speak with my son. My son's getting older, and I got to learn more about his personality and stuff. We got to the amusement park. She smoked and she drank, and she was acting like a child. Like she was acting like my son's age. Like they were both running around getting excited over the same stupid stuff. And I was like, I can't do this. So I'm like, Evan, please don't listen to anything this woman has to say to you. Like, I'm like prefacing him a long ahead of time. I don't curse too much in relationships, just in general. I don't curse too much. I don't curse around my son. And I had asked her to respect that. When we have arguments, I also told her I don't appreciate being cursed at or called out on my name. None of that. I set those ground rules early. She was having issues with those things because she's like, it's not it takes some time. And I was like, I get that, but you're not even being respectful at this point. So after I dropped Evan off, it was like the next day or so, I then went and was like, hey, can we talk?
Yeah.
And I like drove over to her place.
New Jersey.
Yes.
All right.
And then it was late. And I talked to her and I'm trying to explain to her that we're two different people. I think that we need to reset this. And she's like, I don't believe that we can go back to being friends and then back to being girlfriends after that. And I was like, yeah, you're probably right because, that it would take some growth, but, I would like to get to know you more. I don't think you like me.
Exactly.
I don't think you like who I am. And I said, I can't stop this because I've been this way for a long time. I don't even know what kind of person you want me to be in order to be with you. I didn't tell her I cheated on her because it made no sense. It was like a few days ago and I hadn't had sex with her in like 2 weeks, at least by this time.
Clock?
Yeah. I hadn't had sex with her in like 2 weeks. And I'm a horny person. I need that, but I didn't want it with her.
Yeah.
So I was like, this can't be. And then she tried to deflect it because we were supposed to go to DR in a few weeks. And she was like, well, if we could just get to DR and, I think everything will be fine. We just don't go on dates and all these other really weird reasons. But I'm like, we have so many issues and we haven't even been able to tackle any of them. And we don't communicate well. So much so I know that in the middle of me trying to break up with her, she got upset that I almost got into a car accident and didn't tell her. I don't even know how that came out.
Yeah.
I'm like, I ended up sleeping over, but we didn't sleep together. She tried. And then she was like, oh, you sleeping with your bra on. That's a problem. You have an issue. And I'm like, I'm trying to like break up with you. Like, I didn't say it like that, but I was like, I'm serious about like, I don't think,
just being upfront.
I've never actually like, hey, look, it's over. I've never done that.
You're nice. You're too nice.
I've never done that.
Being passive is horrible too.
But I was trying to come at it like, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I was trying to come at it like, we need to reassess this whole situation. And like, I don't like throwing away relationships because I took the time to get to know you and add you to my life. And just to get rid of you sounds insane to me. I am friends with a lot of my exes and because we were friends.
Yeah.
And there's no problem with going back to being friends. And she was just like, no, she didn't want that. So she started crying. I can't believe I almost fell in love with you. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, oh, I feel nothing. I literally feel nothing. So I grabbed my plushie and then
you got the plushie.
I got my plushie.
Right.
I got my plushie. And and I was just like, all right.
That was it?
That was it.
Did you give her a hug?
No, she was just like, once you walk out that door, I'm blocking you on everything. We're never going to talk again.
So be it.
And I was like, we don't have to be that way. Like if we really don't. But if you want
some people's way of healing.
I don't know.
My ex that inspired this podcast, she had to block me because of a new relationship. So I guess that's her way of, I don't know. Leaving the past in the past, I guess. I don't know. A lot of women be blocking for nothing. So
yeah, I'm not a blocker. I'm not a blocker. I like knowing if you did well past me.
Yeah.
I like knowing that you're okay or stuff like that.
I find it entertaining just looking back at certain people. I'm like, I don't know what they're doing now.
Yeah. So she doesn't know. I don't know if she still follows me on other things, but on I have a shop TikTok.
Yeah.
And she still follows my shop TikTok. So occasionally I'll check out and see if she's doing okay. I was on like Clubhouse and one of the guys was like asking me what was her actual birthday. And I was like, I don't know. Maybe she celebrated.
You
so I went
on this on Clubhouse?
Yeah. Oh my God. I talked about this because I really felt like I was going insane.
Yeah.
Like a lot of our conversations were, I couldn't make sense of them. And I need to make sense of everything. And if 2 + 2 is not equaling 4, and no matter how I'm doing the math, it's like mentally I was having issues. I was having real issues. I was stressed out. I was crying. I was like talking to my friends. I was talking to people in Clubhouse. I was talking online. I was talking.
Why you never chose therapy?
Why I never chose therapy? I was broke.
That's true.
I was broke.
Okay.
I also didn't choose therapy due to my ex. He was very pro therapy. And I was having issues when we were going through it. He wanted to do like couples therapy.
Yes.
I was we were looking for someone, and we were having really issues. Everyone was booked up. Everyone was busy. Everyone didn't want to do in person. Everyone didn't want to do. I didn't know about BetterHelp until like way after.
Right.
But I was trying to find people, and it was just so difficult. We found one person finally, and it was just okay. It was just like a talking session, and like nothing really happened. And I don't know. Like I had to talk to the person, and it was just okay.
Yeah.
But it took so much work to do that, and I just.
So you'll find unbiased people to speak to, and
I need unbiased people.
Yeah.
I don't like having a sound like a what do they call that echo cloud, like an echo. I don't like having friends that echo my same visions. I like having people around me that are very different minded, different personality, different thoughts and processes. So then they can tell me, like, look, Day, you messed up. Yeah. And I want that. I want that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So I'd found like 3 unbiased people, and they were like, no, she crazy. She crazy. That's why it was actually convenient that the one I cheated with, unfortunately, her roommates don't know me from a hole in the wall, and I was able to tell them what was going on, and they were like, nah, I don't think they're like, as they were lesbians, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure she just didn't like me, a lot about me, and a part of that was the fact that
something with her that whatever comes off, whatever you're doing, it don't work well with her.
I'm too close.
Gotta smoke to eat, cutting herself. That would have drove me away. Yeah. That one part would have drove me away.
Yeah. I didn't know that, and I always feel bad because I felt like weed is just like the person I'm dating now. He doesn't smoke at all. I'm like, oh, thank God. I really think those people are rare at this point. But I just was feeling like everybody's doing it. Even my ex is starting to get into it. I guess it helps some people.
Yeah.
But then for some people, it's a crutch, and you could tell it was a crutch. I asked her about her drinking because I just wanted to like chill and watch Netflix, and she was like, "Where's the alcohol?" And I'm like, "We're just chilling and watching Netflix. Why we gotta be toked up? Like, why? Because I want to know who you are. Yeah. And when you're on all this stuff, it's different. Yeah. It's so different.
I get that.
Yeah.
Man. So how did you take it? She blocked you and everything?
I didn't care at this point. Okay. I was more irritated.
Was this easy to heal from?
Yes.
You was already over it?
I was over it. If I cheat on...
you didn't feel bad about it?
No. No, I didn't. It wasn't even planned. None of it was planned. I was just hanging out. We drank too much. I passed out and I was like, why not? And then I did not feel bad. I was like, once I've broken up with her before and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I was I was more upset that she like ruined my pride, because unfortunately bi people don't get a lot of love. But during Pride, we get tons of love because everybody's accepting. And I'm like, I could have met someone really great.
Oh, it's the same time, too.
Yeah, it's the same around the same time. I'm like, I could have met someone that would have actually liked me.
Are you expecting to meet somebody today?
I would love that. Are you kidding me? Yeah. My partner doesn't mind that I would if I wanted to. So I kind of want to. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen.
What happens at these? It's a parade.
Mm-hmm.
What takes place?
Well, you just like a normal parade, you watch, but then whatever happens, you go to like after parties, and it's the after parties that are more fun. So I'm going to California next week, and Pride in Cali with beautiful women and like pool parties is like the best. Okay. Yeah.
But here it's just like local bars.
Yeah, local bars.
Yeah.
Parties outside.
Yeah.
Hotel things.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hear it's fun, but.
Mm-hmm.
I can't roll up in there. They were like my mom, get the hell.
Yeah. And so you're going to be walking in there with like Pride up, and then they'll be like, accept you. But no, they're not.
You can't just roll up.
No.
Like my regular self. No. But that's wild.
Yeah.
A
month. I'm missing so many other really like ridiculous stories, but those were like the biggest things that stood out to me.
More stuff happened in that relationship?
Oh yeah, because I'm telling you, it's like a month, and it felt like we had been dating for at least 3. But all the stuff that jammed in that 4.5 to 5 week process was like insane.
Yeah, it sounded like it.
Yeah.
Clock. Would you want to talk to Clock again or be friends with
Clock? I would love to. I really would. I truly think that she was hurting from something, and it wasn't like, I don't know what her issue is with guys or anything like that. But I'm not her enemy. I don't feel like in a relationship you should feel like your partner is your enemy.
Right.
And I felt like she thought I was her enemy. So like she would take everything I was saying to be out of context and like I was attacking her. And I wasn't. I really wasn't. I would love to just sit down and talk to her and be like, what happened? Like, are you okay? Yeah, no, if you can. I would really like to sit down and be like, are you okay? Like, can we talk? Like, are you all right? Like, how you been?
Yeah, that is.
Upside me down.
Boom, boom. Yeah, Alicia, you're caring. So for me, I wouldn't care.
It's funny because I've grown up to hear that Aquariuses are robots. So I've always taken on that.
Are robots?
Mm-hmm. We don't care about like feelings too much. It's what I've been told. Okay. And I strongly think that most Aquariuses are just really emotional, but we're really passionate about the things about people that we care about. So as if we care about it, then we are really emotional about those things. And but anything outside of that, I don't really care. I find that it takes me a little bit to care about them. Like I can switch off really easily. Yeah. I can be really caring about, and then I just switch, and I don't. It doesn't affect me.
Man. Yeah. That's like a robot, basically.
Yeah, like a robot.
I'm trying to think of something else. Your biggest lesson learned from this relationship is what?
So, what made me think that this was definitely a rebound is because when she asked me out, I couldn't formulate why I wanted to be in a relationship. And I think my biggest lesson for this was to when I'm about to jump into a relationship, kind of know what I want out of the relationship, which actually I learned that after her because I it's almost like I needed her for that. And for that, I do thank her for it because I do know what I want. Like, I was in a long-term relationship for 7 years before her. And then jumping out of that, she always compared it to me. And she was like, oh, you just expect me to act like him.
Hold on. Your longest relationship with a woman is 1.5 years.
A guy. Yeah, right. With a woman was 1.5
years. And the guy was 7 years.
7 years.
All right.
Yeah, because I thought we were going to get married, but that ended up blowing up. So she kept comparing me to what I wanted in that relationship to what she, and I was like, it's only because I know how I like to be treated. And my boyfriend now, he treats me the way I want to be treated. And I think that's what I didn't know when she asked me to be her girlfriend, because I didn't know how she would treat me in that relationship. Yes. So that I think I definitely learned. And to try and be more not so nice or passive or like, because I should have broken up with her 2 weeks in. 2 weeks in. Yeah.
Way too passive.
I let a lot of stuff go.
Yeah, you just gotta pull your panties up and be like, look, this is it.
This is it. Okay, so I guess I blame her for ruining my Pride Month, but at the same time, I feel like it's my fault because I should have.
You allowed
it.
Yeah,
I allowed it.
Yeah.
I allowed it. Yeah.
Because if she's showing you signs time after time after time, it's like,
you drive. Right.
Right.
So you ever had a passenger when you're about to park or stop at something automatically open the door and try to jump out?
No.
Yeah, she did that.
She tried to jump out
multiple times. When I would drive into my driving spot, she would like open the door and about to start. Like before I put it in park, like I step on brake, she opened door, because she just her ADD meant she didn't like to wait on things. So she would,
she could hear the thing go, and then out.
No, as soon as I'm like in the,
she'll see it and then
jump out, like start to jump out.
See, my car it automatically locks. So you can't really do that until I press. I put it in park.
So I have a Honda Civic. It doesn't do that. She
could just jump out.
Yeah. At the moment you press the knot, it opens the door.
Oh, see.
Yeah,
that's wild.
Yeah. See, there were like things I shouldn't have just stood for it because that was unnecessary stuff. And then like she smoked, I asked her to like spray yourself or whatever, so I don't have to smell it. And she just forgot or stopped doing it, stuff like that. So that I definitely learned.
So
like
lack of respect. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not patient like that. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I see one sign, I'll be out of there.
Yeah. Oh, see,
What kind of baseball is that? That was more than 3 strikes. That was like...
It was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot. And it was like the first set didn't bother me too much. It was really until it was the arguments. It was the intense arguments. Because little arguments, I'm like, oh, that's not too horrible. But it was the big ones.
If she was to do an episode, right, what do you think she'll say about you?
That I was selfish, that I wasn't over my ex. These are things she said.
You just bring them up all the time?
Yeah. No.
Oh.
I said, I would say, this is how I like to be in a relationship. And she was like, that's because your ex did this or did that for you or whatever. I'm not like that. I'm independent. You know, you should be too and all that. I don't ask for help stuff. And I guess there's no shame in asking for help.
All right.
So I think she would say that, like, in that sense. I guess she would say I was selfish, and I think that would be
it.
Yeah.
Did you think she would do something like this? No, right?
I don't know.
She had to smoke.
Probably.
And
yeah.
To get a mad drink. Bring that drink menu, please.
Oh my God! Yeah, she would run your alcohol town, but for sure.
That's
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. When happened.
Yeah.
What's the biggest? I mean, not that's the biggest lesson. What was some advice you would give somebody going through a heartbreak or breakup?
Oh, go through it.
Mm-hmm.
Go through it. Go through the feels. Feel every emotion. Yeah. And when your tear ducts are done crying, do reflection. Analyze the relationship as if you're not in it. Analyze how it was for the both of you. See yourself in both shoes, if you can. That does take time. Yeah. And however long that time is. I know myself, my first huge heartbreak was really bad. And it took me about a year to get over. Whereas this one was a heartbreak, took me 2 months, right? Like, so every relationship that was like, meant something to me, I went through the feelings of like, oh crap, I missed them or whatever. I miss what they did for me. I miss this or miss doing that with them. I'll do things and then I'll be like, oh, I miss them. Yeah. Go through those emotions. And I think that like seeing them like a third person view, you're like, oh, I did that. Right. And then I'm like, oh, if I didn't do that, or if I didn't overlook that situation, then this wouldn't have happened. You know, I find that I do that. I do that a lot in all my relationships. I think every year I learn something new. I'm like, oh shoot, I did that too. Yeah. And that probably led to blah, blah, blah.
But do you learn from them?
Yeah.
All right. Not making the same mistakes.
Oh, no. What is it? That's like the definition of being stupid. Like you you do the one thing the one time and then you're like, oh, okay, let me not do that again.
All right. So that's good. You learn from them.
Yeah.
But this is like brand new. This hit you. You watch Dragon Ball Z?
I love Dragon Ball Z.
So I compare like Goku to like, all right, so let's say I was in a relationship and I learned from that. Like, all right, that hurt me. I was heartbroken. It's like Goku beating a guy. Yeah. Then he meets the next stronger guy.
Yes.
And it teaches him
a new lesson.
Yes.
Yes.
So I always look at it like that.
That's a nice way to view that.
I feel like it's every time. You think he's the strongest in the world. Like, yeah.
And then beat that guy. Then he's back in the pod training like a crazy person to do it again. Yep. Yeah. That's a
all
good
about healing and learning from your past.
Right. You should take I do find that a lot of people when they're ready, so that I felt like she wasn't ready for a relationship. That was my one thing. I feel like when you go in guarded with issues from a previous situation, you are not ready to be in a relationship. Yeah. I am not. I don't. That's like people say baggage. So your baggage should be like a carry-on. Okay. It shouldn't be. My son, I guess, would be considered baggage to some people who don't date single moms or anything like that, especially for lesbians, because some lesbians may not think I'm really gay enough, I guess. That I like eating pussy like the next person. They would see that as like baggage. So then my son would be baggage, or my shopping problem would be baggage. The fact that I like clothes or baggage, right? So those are like little things. But if I'm carrying like, oh, I can't trust you if you are always on Instagram, baggage, that means I have a trust issue problem, which that could have been formed from someone else. Right. And then I'm not ready to bring that into another relationship because this is a brand new person, who does brand new things.
Yes.
And just because it's something similar and that like triggers you to think of someone else, and then I'm like, you're not ready.
Yeah,
you're not ready.
Some help.
You're not ready.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Like, you coming in with that BS from the other stuff.
No, you cannot.
Yeah, you gotta go back.
Because in using your reference, if you battle the new boss with the same old tactics from a previous boss, you're not.
Yes.
Exactly. Exactly. You have to do exactly. You have to all the time.
And he goes for help.
He needs
like this.
Yes.
Help.
He dies. They all respect, and while everyone else is battling, he's realizing, oh wait,
I did listen to this and be like, yo, they looking at Dragon Ball Z like it's like a relationship.
It's a relationship. So like when he dies and he's like running back to get from when they find the Dragon Balls, and then everybody else, Piccolo, his son, Vegeta, everybody's battling, and he's like, oh, I should use that technique to beat this boss because it's a brand new.
He's looking at everybody's relationship.
Exactly.
And it's like, oh, you messing up here.
Right.
I gotta do this.
It's a brand new boss.
Yeah.
Approach it differently. You should never underestimate. Relationships are not like bosses you have to go take down, but they're new people. So, and new friendships and new things. That's probably why I did let a lot of it slide, because it's a new person I'm learning.
Yes.
So then I was willing to accept whatever negative and whatever is positive. But unfortunately, her negatives outweighed whatever positive she was supposed to be giving me. Yep. And that's why,
and a lot of negative.
Yeah.
When I seen that month thing, I was like, what the hell could I know? And now I'm listening, I'm like,
I know. And it was funny because I was like listening to your pods and I'm like, I feel like this is a good one. Yeah, I could talk about my 7-year one, but I mean, ultimately, amicably, we're fine. It didn't work. It wasn't supposed to work as long as it did. That's really what happened. So
it'd be like that. Last but not least, the song you like dedicate to Clock.
Did you recognize it?
No. So I was
it's a rock song.
All right.
That's I don't listen to a lot of hip hop or anything. I listen to a lot of K-pop and rock songs and like Bollywood and stuff like that. So, but Trapped Headstrong is, I was like, headstrong to take you on. And it's a good song. It's a good song. She was very headstrong.
All right.
And literally every time I hear that song, it's like I think of her because there was no talking to her. It was like she was banging her head against a wall. I felt like I was doing that for myself.
Stubborn?
She was doing that. Yeah. There was no like, I'm trying to find a compromise with her with that sleeping through to get through emotions thing. And I'm like, you 38, my guy. Like, what are you doing?
That's not cool.
That's not a tactic. That's a tactic. My son uses that. My son's 15. He uses that tactic to get over problems.
Yeah.
You are almost 40. Stop it. What are you doing?
Yeah. So you're into K-pop and rock and roll. Why not hip hop, R&B?
Oh, I love R&B.
All right.
I love R&B. I was like, look at all the Ray J stuff and everything. I love R&B. I grew up on R&B and hip hop. I strayed away around in the 90s because of the woman.
Oh, how they,
like how they was rapping about women back at the time.
Like Queen Latifah, not to it. It went to
like bitches and hoes. I was like, okay. So it wasn't. I think I'm such a bright, bubbly person. Yeah. So then I like
alternative rock. What happened to that?
Like
Green Day.
They're still around. They don't make as much.
No.
They don't make as much.
Come, my lady, come, my lady.
Oh,
that type of stuff.
I love that stuff. That was my like gateway because I was listening to like Z100 at the time. And that was alternative rock.
That was my shit.
Yeah, no, I went straight into metal.
Oh, how do you...
Yeah.
My coworker listens to metal, right? He's like, you don't like this? I'm like, no.
You know what it is? You have to find the kind that you like.
But it's noise.
Right? Okay. So you have to find the kind that you like. I think the melodic rock, like Rob Zombie, or I listen to baby metal because they're Japanese, but Rob Zombie, I think Skid Leroy.
What is Kings of Leon? What is that? What kind of rock is that?
Kings of Leon is, I think they're like classic. I don't think they're in the rock category.
That type of stuff.
Yeah, I don't know.
I like that.
Well, okay.
All right.
Yeah, that's a different genre. I mean, I like it. I'll listen to it. That's like for me. That's like
and Metallica and
I can show you some songs. I can show you some songs that are like they mix a little bit of R&B. It's singing with rock in it. Okay. And I think that I like that meld because I like singing along to it and screaming out in the car, kind of like Evanescence maybe. That was like a good
yes.
a good like rock in it but still singing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But Tribe to Headstrong is a good one. Like it's definitely like bang your head
You
to.
know, it's gonna play after this, and it better not be no noise. I'm telling you.
It's not gonna be that much noise. It's words.
All right.
It's words.
Now tell people where they can find you. This is a good episode. Even though I was scared a little bit. I'm like, this is a short ass relationship, but it was good.
Okay.
Got to know you a little bit.
Oh, awesome. You can find me on Instagram, Cotton Candy. I think it's like hyphenated, Cotton Candy HG. Both underscores. And I also have a podcast just talking about like relationships with my best friend. It was just like a bonding thing. And I just really like talking about relationships and stuff. And I have a shop, Coco Kawaii, also on Instagram. Yeah, just find me on Instagram. That's it.
You'll link them everywhere, right?
Yeah, it'll link everywhere.
Good. Yeah. Thank you. You finally got on. Finally got to do this.
On Pride.
Long time coming.
Happy Pride.
Right. And you can listen to your own episode now.
Yeah. While I'm working.
Thank you. And that's Views of an X.